Hello, hello, hello. Today we continue with honor verse. What was the name of the book?
First, no,
For
Honor of the Queen.
on the honor of the queen. Oh, well, to the chapter 20, I will remember this, I guess. It's honor of the queen. But today we have only chapter 3. That's why I'm confused. So of the title of our book. Okay, and let's start with characters. Let's mention only new one. So we know McGuinness, we know Venizelos, we know Wolcott, Admiral Courvosier. Number 5 is a new one, right? Well,
Yes, Houseman,
Reginald.
an economic advisor of Admiral Courvosier, diplomatic mission to enlist Grayson as an ally of Manticore in the expected upcoming war against Heaven.
So he's kind of who is an advisor? Do you understand?
Who give advice?
Yeah, who give you advice? And advice is a kind of tricky word, right? It's a plural and singular at the same time, right, teacher?
Yep.
So you cannot give an advice. So you give a piece of advice or something. Sergey?
Correct.
Yeah, in our industry earlier, we used to work with a free advising company, McKinsey, BCG, and the third part of the big free company who gives the advices, analytics company.
Okay. So you know who is advisor, right? Who is economic advisor? You have had such experience.
Yep.
Okay, Ramirez. So Ramirez was mentioned in the previous chapter as a sparring partner. I hope I pronounced this well. No?
Yep.
Ramirez.
Sparring
partner. Honor was thinking about him like about potential sparring partner, but it didn't happen.
But I thought that it was Bob Cook.
Bob Cook. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Okay, so it's another Marine, right? Commander of the onboard Marine detachment.
So some Navy ships carry a group of Marines on board as part of the normal crew. So if they ever need to land on a beach and dispatch Marines, they've got some. So he's the head of the Marine group on the ship. Normally they have nothing to do, right?
Yep.
Because they land on planets to do battles. So the Marines are kind of an independent group. They're on the ship, but they don't really do anything. So he's their boss, their commander.
Yeah. I remember we read a book, Starship Troopers, and that it was a conflict between Marines and Navy kind of.
And Army, yeah.
Because depend of the stage of the battle, one of them do nothing and another do all the job, right?
and it's the same thing in the Honorverse. There's a lot of Navy people that don't like the Marines. Well, not a lot, a few Navy people that don't like the Marines. And the best case in that is Harkness. Harkness hates Marines. And he's always getting into fights with them and getting demoted. Yeah.
Okay, so because we had a officer meeting in this chapter, we have a lot of names of these commanders, right? Of officers, of Navy officers in our cast. Let me mention some. So Higgins, right? The chief engineer of Fearless, Dumorn, second lieutenant, and 2 captains, right? 2 captains of another ships, but in the same squadron, right?
Yep.
So Truman and Alvarez.
Correct.
Brian Mercedes, right? Originally honored sailing master. Sailing master is about Warszawski sail, actually, sailing master.
On a spaceship, I have no idea.
So I was confused about sailing master.
I think maybe that means she's in charge of the space shuttles and the boats that leave the ship, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and now he is a XO of destroyed Madrigal, right?
So she got promoted after the Battle of Basilisk Station. Her battle experience, she got promoted and put on another ship. Yeah.
Okay. McCann, Alistair, we know him, right? And he is a CEO of Troubadour.
He got promoted also and moved to another ship. Yeah.
Jihan, do you know who is a Troubadour?
It's a ship.
Yeah, but it's a real word. What does it mean? Do you know?
Oh, no, I didn't search this word.
Sergey, could you answer this?
In the middle of in 6 or 5 century ago in Europe, special educated people who announced news with some musician tools. People, please listen the news.
How we call them? So it's kind of a musician. Troubadour is kind of a musician, but you know who is kind of traveling on his own. So he has no theater, he has nothing. Do you remember Ellie and Wizard of the Oz?
Yeah, it's not. I was wrong. Yeah, Troubadour is musician.
Yeah, do you remember Dorothy in the Wizard of the Oz? So there was a kind of a van of Troubadour, I remember. It's a French word, by the way, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a bard. It's like a singing, traveling performer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bard, but probably with a focus to music more than something else, I guess.
Well, bards usually sing songs about heroes and things.
Yeah.
So bards are musical too. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of the names, so we know what is Troubadour, what is Apollo and Madrigal. Anybody know? What?
Madrigal, I think it's Latin.
It's a Spanish word, I guess, or Latin word.
Spanish word.
Spanish word.
Is
Madrigal, madrugo. See? It's a kind of a when sun rays, so it's a madrigal. So
Madrigal is when the sun comes up.
yeah.
yes,
Madrugada.
and also when I read the book, Madrigal is a letter to a woman.
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't know. Okay, what about Apollo? What about Apollo? It's a Greek, I guess, mythology. Apollo, right?
I think the god of hunting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Our America's initial mission to put a man on the moon was called the Apollo program. To
Yeah.
put a man on the moon. Now we're going back to the moon to put a man on the moon again. So we're calling that the Artemis program.
Mhm.
Apollo and Artemis were brothers in Greek mythology. So Apollo got us to the moon. Artemis has taken us back to the moon.
Nice. Sergey, your comment?
Yeah, if I remember correct, the mission Apollo 13 had a catastrophe in the space.
Yeah, I think they had a oxygen loss of oxygen or something. Yeah, they had an incident they had to deal with. Yeah, was that
Yeah,
Apollo
and-
13?
I don't remember.
One of them
Okay.
had a problem in space where their oxygen leaked out or something in the 11 or 13. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end of 80s, last century, Soviet Union with USA had a common mission, Apollo Soyuz, and they went from the Earth to space station Mir.
You mean this international station, right?
Yeah,
Okay, let's go to the next one. So Langtree Anthony. I don't remember him. Jihan, who is Langtree Anthony?
The worst one here who can remember the characters. I can't.
So it's ambassador. What is ambassador? Jihan, what is ambassador?
Is the one who's with the embassy?
But what he's doing? Spying?
Maybe he's like representing his country.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah, so probably it's the main one, right? So the someone is charge of embassy, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they have major ambassadors and minor ambassadors or not, but it's a government to government representative. They speak for their respective countries.
Okay. Sergey?
As I know, the embassy of other country, usually it is one building with a small garden, stays as a territory as a country inside to different country.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you go to, let's say, American embassy in Russia, you actually kind of was on American territory, right? So if you go there, so you visit America, you can say.
Correct. So ambassadors stay in embassies as a residence and a workplace, I guess.
Okay, and we have two historical personas, right? Clausewitz, yep, and Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is correct?
Yeah, Sun Tzu is good. Sun Tzu. And these are very famous in real life. So you may hear references to these. I hear references to Sun Tzu all the time.
Yeah.
And Clausewitz once in a while, or Clausewitz. It's German. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. My favorite one from Sun Tzu is if you sit on the bench of the river, around the river for the long time, the body of your enemy will be here.
I think it was a joke.
I don't think it was a joke, You just have to be patient. Just wait.
Yeah.
Okay. We now we know everyone. So let's start with our questions. Do we have a volunteer for number one? No. Jihan, please.
Okay. What is the initial opening setting of this chapter? This chapter started with a dinner party, and there was Honor and her group with Admiral Courvosier, and Houseman, and the youngest one, the Ensign Wolcott. I'm not sure of his pronunciation.
Well, Wolcott's good, yeah.
Wolcott, okay.
Okay, so and I remember it was mentioned that this kind of room is pretty big by Navy standards, right, for this ship, because Navy ships they're usually for combat, not for drinking something.
Yeah, this was a flagship. So a flagship is a ship intended to be the head ship of a fleet. So it's got more VIPs on it. So it has larger rooms to accommodate, a lot of senior officers that have more prestige.
Yeah, good. Okay, did we miss anything on this one?
No, good.
Let's go to the interesting one. Vova, could you please cover number 2?
Describe Ensign Wolcott and what traditions had to execute. Ensign Wolcott is the youngest officer on the team, and she needed to say a toast.
Yeah, to raise a toast for what?
Yep.
For the queen.
Yeah, for honor of the king. Yes, the queen. Yeah. Why is the youngest do this? What do you think?
Because as I already
I guess it's just tradition, So Navy likes tradition and they like to kind of involve people, right? So they make you feel that you are one of us, right? You are not nobody anymore.
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, why we execute tradition, teaching? So it's a kind of a phrasal.
I just use execute. It means perform, to do, to observe. I just used execute. You can use any verb here.
Okay, so because I just know that some verbs there tend to connect to some actions, right? Like commit suicide, right? For instance.
Yeah, usually we say follow a tradition.
Okay.
Follow tradition by proposing a toast. So they're following a tradition. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, I like traditions in general, and I understand that this young officer, or who was Ensign, he probably was very nervous, right? He thought it's a very important thing, right? But for the rest, it was just just nothing.
Exactly. It's kind of like your first public speaking, everyone else like, yeah, somebody else is going to talk, but to you, it's like, oh my God, they're all going to be looking at me. They're going to ask me questions I can't answer. Oh my God,
Exactly. Okay, so everyone has his hands raised. I don't know why. Sergey, why you have?
Yes, and I has remember one moment when they had a meeting. Marines told that honor as the old school or new school, because old school used to have meeting via Zoom, via video, Zoom.
But yes, but it was a little bit late, I guess, with officer meeting. So there was two meetings, right? One diplomatic, another one for officers. So it was a little bit later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This one was military, so more traditional. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Shaima, would you like to add something? I am asking.
No, for number 3. Answer number 3.
Okay, let me ask Jihan first. Maybe Jihan is about number 2. Jihan, am I right? I'm asking because your hand is raised. I thought you would like to add something. Yeah. Okay. So nothing. Okay. Shaima, could you please cover number 3?
Okay. Describe who Regine Houseman is and what is he believe and beliefs are regarding Grayson and Mazda. Yeah, he was an economic advisor. And he believes that he could make a relationship between Grayson and Mazda for their economic benefits, and he ignore, or maybe he can't recognize the pitted hatred for so many centuries between them. And he can easily he believes that he can easily persuade Mazda and Grayson to be reasonable and to to trade peacefully with each other and make mutual economic benefits and cooperate peace between them.
It's so easy. It's just so easy.
for him, not in real.
I know. I just need to explain to them the benefits and they'll both cooperate. Yeah. Okay.
Like any diplomatic process.
Yeah. Kind of like Iran and Iraq, maybe, or Israel and Palestine. Sometimes it's not that easy, or Russia and Ukraine. It's just, they need to realize this is to their benefit to live peacefully and be friends, Okay. I lost your sound. You're muted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to interrupt you so many times. So
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sergey, you raised your hand, right?
Yes, and I wanted to explain this point, but teacherly explain better. But
Okay.
for me, I support Houseman because obviously we have the benefits if we work together. But I think that I can explain to him, but it's not. This situation happens not only between countries, between people. We are talking about the two people can't find a good way for peaceful life, but now we are talking about countries. A lot of people have a lot of opinions, a lot of views, but it's very, very difficult. And that's why usual people can't understand the diplomatics, presidents and managers of country, because they had not only benefits from as a salary and honor, etc., but they are working hard because they must explain our ideas. They must understand their ideas to find a compromise. But I can't understand how it works, because
and many times it doesn't work, right? It's a school of hard rocks, or how we call it, school of
hard knocks.
Hard knocks, right? So I myself, all my life, I got surprised like every week. So when people do something strange, I say, why? Let me explain you. You're doing something, against your benefit. And how many times I succeeded? No, zero so far.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so what I learned from this kind of meeting, I learned that Houseman, so my impression that Houseman tried to look sophisticated, tried to kind of maybe a bit denigrate honor, by all these quotes of Clausewitz and Sun Tzu, but it's surprisingly enough, Honor read all these books and was able to continue the discussion, right? Sergey, please.
I want to add that Houseman looks like a theoretical economic, theoretical diplomat, theoretical people who didn't have children. You not manage your children correctly. You have to. Okay, please show me your children. Not, I know how, but you didn't know. And I understood that he didn't have good education practical. And when I went to university and to college, and they told me you have two parts of your life, theoretical and practical, because very often practice didn't connect with theoretical.
Yeah. Theoretically, many things should work, right? In real life, somehow they don't work at all, right? And how we learn this, hard way on practice, right?
Yeah.
When I was young, theoretically, I exactly knew how to raise my children. I knew all these answers, everything. Nothing will, surprise me. When I got my real children, it did not work anymore. So I had to find new ways. Yeah, I understand.
We have a saying, it sounds good on paper. That means when you write it down, it sounds really good. But when you try to do it in real life, it's not so easy. Yeah.
Let me try to provide example. Theoretically, our class it's a great opportunity to practice English, right? For free. So we should have, the list of participants like 100 names long.
Yeah.
Something does not sum up, right? There.
Yeah.
Okay. So we described the first meeting that happened into this chapter, right? So after it, I remember it was another briefing, right? Another military briefing. So let's go to this one. It was Admiral Courvosier and officers, I remember, Navy and Marine officers. So no more diplomats, no more civilians. And let's go to these points, right? Admiral Courvosier did. Sergey, could you please cover first one?
I want to add about, but I don't remember where is happened the argue between Honor and the Houseman when they discussed about diplomats and military, that military continuation of diplomats' mistakes. And Houseman told, not military is a bad guys because they started to wars. We are working about the I think it was a good point. It was it happened during the first
meeting. In real life, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the war? War is when we have a war, right? We have a war when diplomacy went to no-go situation, right? So there is no any compromise anymore possible, right? So what should we do? We should kind of steer the cup, right? So we start a war, we get a new situation, and then we start diplomatic again, I guess.
I think Houseman was trying to say diplomats are reasonable people. They try to talk things out first. They're peaceful, but the military, they just want to fight, kill, kill. You know, and he was kind of trying to show the military are the bad guys and the diplomats are the heroes.
Partially, I would agree with him. You know, in a way, I think that military people, they have a certain mindset, right? They born to solve problem by violence, right? So when you go to them and ask, how can I solve this problem? What will they say? Let's kill everyone, right? Let's kill everyone, everything will be fine.
Because
That's
they,
true. That's true. Yeah, it's true.
because they didn't have another ways.
They not train it, right? They not train. They narrow down to one solution. So how to kill exact guy who is against you? So that's easy. I know exactly how to do it with my knife, with my rifle, with my bomb, with my navy.
That's right. And Otter made a point that a civilian, you know, the president, civilians are usually in control of what the military does.
Yep.
So if the military goes to war, usually a civilian is the one making that happen. So you can't blame the military if the civilians tell them to go to war.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's civilians who say, go there and, you know, bring me his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's go to these 4 points that Admiral Courvosier did. So what about first one? Do we have a volunteer? Jihan, would you like to?
Okay. Explain his first point. It's about like building a rapport and a relationship with Graysons and to strengthen it.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be pro-manticore and anti-heaven.
So that's the key point. That's their main mission, to get an ally to help in a war that's coming. Okay, good.
As Teacher wrote here, an alliance would be ideal. Alliance, right? Would be ideal, but even just a friendly relationship would be acceptable, right? So let's make Grayson, our ally, right? So that's the idea.
So a small victory or a big victory, as long as we have a victory. Okay.
Yeah, but I like this way to, you know, to put the goals. So I like it. Well, it's not like, you know, only one thing we should achieve. I like when we have like ideal solution, so what we should be thinking of, and, you know, acceptable solution. So we go in for this, but if we get this or that, it's good as well.
And we have a saying, aim for the stars, an alliance. If you miss, at least you'll hit the moon, a friendly relationship. So aim high, and if you don't make that, you still get something that's pretty high, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the second point. So I highlighted this point. So we are not going to remember it, we are going to explain it, right? So it's not a riddle. What would you like to try? Or
the Graysons will...
please read aloud.
The Graysons will view anything Manticore says in light and say the Masada poses to them.
Do you understand what does mean? So it's about mindset, right? So Grayson will kind of understand everything from their point of view, right? And what is their point of view? Their point of view is about threat of Masada. Do I understand this correctly? Shaima, would you like to add something?
No, everything is clear. I raise my hand for number 6.
For number 6. Okay, so point, right? Please go for it.
Okay, number the third point, honors a small 4-ship squadron is as powerful as 70% of Grayson Navy. So Grayson is relatively backward in technology and inferior to Manticore in most ways. So he cautions everyone not to condensate to the Grayson. They have their pride and are worthy of respect. I don't align it with them with arrogance. I like this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Shaima, but let me ask you a question. So we know that the small Navy escadron of Manticore, it's kind of as much as powerful, like 70% of the whole Grayson Navy. So why Manticore needs such an ally? So for what?
Maybe economic benefits and military cooperation, maybe.
Yeah.
Defeat the enemies, yeah.
Yeah, I remember we discussed the buffer zone. Do you remember last time? So it's not about power, it's about, I don't know, it's about zone.
Previous chapter, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Also remember that that Haven has a large population. They've taken over many systems. So they've got lots and lots of military, people they can put in the military. Manticore is a small system. It doesn't have a lot of people. It's got quality, but not quantity. So Grayson also is a source of enlistees to join the military. So Manticore needs people as well to serve in the military. Yeah.
So we will give them equipment, we will give them Navy ships if they need to, but we need these officers and enlisted personnel.
Lend-lease program. We'll give you starships, you put people on them. Yeah. Yeah.
Jihan, please.
Yeah.
For the second point, I didn't understand this one. Does it mean that the Graysons will see Manticorians people through Mazada's lens, like their body language and the way they treat them?
Let me try to make an example. Let's see, something like Russia and Ukraine, right? If you go to Ukraine and say, we will give you this and that, they will kind of appreciate it.
We'll give you food and some electric cars.
Yeah. Yeah. And they say it will not help us, to beat the Russia. So give us anything else. So it's about mindset. It's about like a system of value of how you value the things, right? If it helps you to avoid threat from Masada, it's a good thing. If it's just entertain you, it's another thing. So it's how I understand it.
It's like you've got a wolf at your throat, right? And I come up and say, we'll give you new shoes and lots of coats. And you go, I need a knife. I need a gun. Give me something. I get a wolf at my throat. I need something to kill the wolf first. Yeah.
So it's like, it's always about how Manticore could serve them.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. First, before they can fight Haven, they've got Masada trying to tear their jugular vein out. They need to deal with Masada first and Haven second.
Oh, would you like to say something?
Yes. I noticed that Manticore, the smallest that the galaxy, how it's called?
Imperial
that the Heaven allies with Grayson, that smaller planet than the Masada.
Yeah, good observation. So Manticore is kind of smaller than Heaven, right? And Grayson kind of smaller than Masada, and they tend to each other, right? Okay, let's go to the last one, the fourth point. Jihan, can you help us with this one? I highlighted.
Okay. It's about the social differences or how they treat women into the two different societies. Yeah, the admiral is like telling his people to respect that they are different than us and to follow their own rules in their own lands. So they don't denigrate them for their being.
Denigrate.
Denigrate.
Yeah. So when in Rome, do as Romans do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sergey, would you like that?
Yeah, I would like to add that I know that in other country has a university very educated as a culture. And some people ask them why when you live in US you is education Russia or Asia Pacific or something. But I think it's a good point because in Russia we have similar to university where we educated culture of China, of Asia, of on European, because we plan to connect with them and we have to know their traditions, their culture, because without this preparation, you will lost more than you would have this preparation with clever guy from the universities.
Yeah, yeah. So it's much easier to communicate, to make agreement with someone if you understand their way of thinking, their culture. And if you don't go there, you know, like you are all wrong, I will teach you how to do this, right?
The American way.
I heard some stories when two people, two companies from China and Russia know English, they connected English, but when people started to speak Russian, both sides, or Chinese, both sides, they found the good way for friendship or work much faster.
Interesting. Well, I think it's, you know, I would say it's counterintuitive to me because, you know, English kind of a lingua franca. You can find a lot of people who speak English, but let me, how will you find people speak Russian or Chinese? You know, it's much harder, I guess. But probably something, you know, something lost in translation, as we say, right? When we speak on a foreign language, both sides. So, of course, there is a big field for misunderstanding, right? We see it many times. We have seen this many times.
I'll give you an example that I didn't know about. When I was in Taiwan, we called young women xiaojie, which just means little sister. But when I went to China, they said, oh, don't call her xiaojie. I went, well, why not? In Taiwan, it means little sister. It's affectionate. Oh, in China, it means whore and prostitute. And I went, whoa, same word, but totally different meaning in the two different countries.
Yeah, what a surprise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. So we covered points that Admiral Courvosier did, right, during the meetings. So let's go with what honor, right, added to this. Anyone remember, or we should read in our synopsis? So this one, I guess. Shaima, please.
Yeah, she wanted to be abreast of any more incidents will occur between Grayson and Manticore, if happened.
Yeah, but why? Why she wants this?
Maybe she wanted to make full full cooperation or full defeated system against the enemy ships.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess, you know, to mitigate the consequences, right? So the faster you start your mitigation, the more effective it will be, I guess.
Good way to say it. Excellent. To keep it from getting worse. Calm down, everybody. There was a misunderstanding. We apologize. Yeah. To soothe their feathers.
Okay, so that's all, right? The additional point, I don't remember. Yeah, seems so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's speak about splitting her squadron. Jihan, would you like to tell us about this?
Okay. At first, Honor wanted the most impressive and huge ships to be at Grayson to support Courvosier, the primary mission. And they want these ships to impress the Graysons. And the second mission, it's Apollo and the French word troubadour. They will escort the 5 ships on the Casca system, and then they will return in 11 days. I think the second mission are the ones who have the gifts, right?
No, they dropped some gifts at Grayson, but they had other stuff to deliver in Casca.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember it was told that that the way back for the second kind of split will be faster because they don't have to wait for cargo ships, so it's not for long, I guess. 11 days or something.
Right. The merchant ships will stay in Casca, so then only military ships can come back, so they can go faster. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We have number 10. Anyone want to go for it? Anyone wants to go for it? Shaima, please.
Okay. Number 10. What 2 precautions does Honor order for Fearless and Madrigal while in the Grayson system? Yeah, Shittle, Alvarez, that the Fearless and Madrigal will keep their emblems hot at all times and will not allow more than 10% their crews to be dirt side on the planet at one time.
Right. So be ready. Right? It's how I would say it.
I'm ready to move quick. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go on. Yeah. Anything else? So this covered, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, and we have the last one. And I cannot answer it. I forgot the answer. I need an assistant for 11.
The next paragraph in the text, probably. McKeon asks, yeah, you had it. McKeon asks a question.
That's Grayson. Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah. Anyone want to call this? Sergey? Okay. Number 11.
I don't remember the question.
Okay, so the question was, I didn't remember that first as well. Does Grayson know that the most senior military officers in the Manticore delegation will be a woman? So, as we know, yeah.
Yeah, and they did discuss about, they discussed on it, and they pretended that they didn't know about honor, about that she is woman, but one person added that the people from Grayson in the past lived in the earth, and they can understand the name who.
Yes, they can guess the gender by the name, right?
Yeah, and that's why they didn't. I didn't understand how they could find the way from the situation, but maybe they can go.
So let me try to summarize it. So as far as I understand the answer, right, given to Macron, so we did not tell them deliberately that our senior officers are mostly women, right? We did not tell them, but we sent them a list of names from which they can understand it like on themselves, right, on their own. So probably they are kind of prepared to this. It will not be a surprise. But we did not tell them like you directly, you scums, our navy is full of women, so you will, you have to deal with this. So it did not happen, right?
Yeah,
To be honest,
go ahead.
To be honest, I didn't understand why Honor started to be as a commander this mission, because they had a good preparation for this mission to Grace, and they know about relationship between men and women integration. Anyway, they announced Honor as a commander this mission. Maybe they have a plan B when they covered the name, where they covered Honor on the ship, and only men will go to the Grayson as ambassadors. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's a good question. Should they kind of do it their way, or should they, do this own way? It's a good question. I remember it was a visit of some German politics to Saudi Arabia or somewhere else. I don't remember exactly, some Arabic countries. And she was covering her head with this, I don't know, clothes. And she was, she was strongly criticized by this, so why you did this? You are not belong to this culture. Why you did this? So I think there is no kind of a good answer. So Manticorian decided to go according to their culture, right? So we have a queen, right? We have the queen, we have female officers, so just deal with this, right?
Okay, it's a question because we didn't know what's the progress, what the education level, what's the relationship level for the Grayson, and maybe they didn't have some people from the Grayson as a spies for connect with them, for giving some questions for them about.
So you mean how much they are aware of? Of acceptance of this gesture from
understand me. For me, this mission is a very important mission for Manticore. They spent a lot of billions of dollars for them, and now, as I understand, the mission has been not prepared very well because we have some controversial decisions.
I got this point, but look at this differently. Let's say you cannot hide your women like forever, right? If you will be ally, at one time it will be clear that there is a queen, there is a kind of female officer. So the faster it happens, the better, in my opinion.
But I understand your point about German diplomats in Arabic country, but we didn't know. Could understand Grayson people as Arabic people, that they people from other culture. Okay, I have my women. I treat them because they are my women. Your women. You could build relationships with them as you want. Okay, no problem, because it's not my it's not my side. But I understand your point, but we don't know their attitude.
We will learn soon, I guess. Teacher,
okay. Yeah, it's okay. So the chapter talks about, there was a lot of discussion about this. Manticore discussed this in detail. They weren't unprepared. Manticore, the high level people had discussed this. Should we send a woman or not? Should we tell them she's a woman or not? There was a lot of thought into this, and the high level people decided, don't tell Grayson that a woman is our senior military person. The government decided not to tell Grayson in advance. And there were arguments pro and con. They felt that if you tell them, by the way, our senior military person's a woman, if you tell them that directly, they could interpret that to mean, you know, we use women in our military and you don't. So we're letting you know that we're going to show you a woman in the military, you know. So they didn't want to offend the people by specifically saying, since you don't have any women in your military, we want to let you know we are sending a woman in our military. So they didn't want to have an implied insult. So they chose not to directly, specifically say it, to kind of rub it in their face. Oh, by the way, our head military person is a woman, you know. So they didn't want to mention it. And they didn't want to shock them either. You know, holy cow, she's a woman. What is it? She's a woman. What is it? So they chose a subtle method. They just sent a list of personnel to Grayson, and they could see that the CO of the Fearless was Honor Harrington, and they were hoping they would know that that was a woman and not a man's name, and they would kind of be prepared for it. So there were like 3 levels: tell them, don't tell them, and send them a list of names and let them figure it out for themselves. And that was the option that was chosen.
And I guess it's an interesting way, right? You're not going to offend anyone, right? You're not kind of spiking this, you know, conflict. You're not showing the difference, right? You're trying, but at the same time, you're not making a surprise out of it, right? So you're not putting your partner, put your partner in a hard position, right? So in a surprise position, like whoa, you eat babies on the breakfast, so
Why not?
yeah, why not? So we send you our offer, you can too.
And then the second question that I don't think we asked it in this chapter, but having this kind of delicate situation, why did they send Honor as the head, as the highest military person? Why send a woman? Why not send a man in Honor's place? Why choose her for this mission? I don't think the previous chapters talked about that. I think a later chapter will explain why Manticore chose to send a woman instead of a man to Grayson in particular. They had a reason for that. I don't remember if it was discussed or not.
No, it wasn't yet.
Okay. So that'll be explained later, because I think Honor's going to ask Courvosier, why are you sending me? I'm a woman. Why are you sending me? We're going to offend them. So that gets explained in a later chapter.
Great. Cannot wait already.
But it's all been thought about. It's all been planned. Okay.
Nice. Okay, we have a few minutes more. If you have any questions, it's a good time to ask them.
Yeah, and I have one
Please.
point, and for me, this chapter looks like missions of USA and the USSR in Afghanistan. And both countries show they are very, very clever and they know what they did. But anyway, Afghanistan, as Grayson, we won both countries. For me, because we did, I don't know, I understand why, but it's similar. And they obviously not educated, not progressive, but anyway,
they go their way, right? They go their way. So US and USSR, and they both independently in their own time, they thought we will go to Afghanistan, we will show them the good things, how to do that. And obviously they will, adapt our way. So why not? Right? So hard surprise, right?
Yeah.
they didn't.
Afghanistan's hopeless. They'll never have a government that can rule their country. Yeah. Oh God. What a mess.
Jihan, please tell us, were we delicate enough discussing this chapter? Because usually our goal, to offend everyone. Did we success?
No.
No, okay. Next time we will try better, right?
But you raise a good point. I think you said that when Germany, what was the woman's name? Merkel?
Someone
Merkel,
else.
or someone else? Okay.
Yeah.
But when Germany sent a female diplomat to Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
in Saudi Arabia, all the women must cover their hair. They must. But in Germany, that's not the tradition. So the female diplomat decided she would wear a hijab to show respect to Saudi Arabia. But the German people, the women, they all got offended. How dare you hide our German customs from Saudi Arabia? You know, how dare you do that? Are you saying we're wrong and they're right? You know, but to the Saudis, they probably saw it as a show of respect. But there was a lot of differences of opinion how to blend those two customs together when diplomats meet. Yeah.
In my opinion, it's very cursed, situation. You cannot get any solution. So whatever you get, so you are wrong. Interesting. Okay, thank you very much. And see you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.